This is me playing Daniel Evans' game and testing it. As you can see when I spawn in, there's a nice control panel on the wall which tells me what my controls are. I go into this next room, which is a nicely decorated kitchen, almost giving like a scary horror vibe. I do notice that the environment is slightly unbuilt, like there's open windows and stuff, and you can see in the environment some of the textures aren't done. I go up to this door, there's a print string at the top left, which tells me that I need a key. One thing that I would suggest is maybe adding a widget instead of just a print string to tell me what I need to do, just because it's a bit simple just using a print string. I eventually find the key and I go into this room. This is where the first big puzzle is. That block is a safe, which I eventually go up to. Then I have a look. I go up to the darts board. On the darts board, there's 3 darts, which almost insert to like the key for the code. So I have a look. I eventually go to type it into the safe, and I get it wrong, which, as you can see now, it does deduct 1 minute from my timer, which is a nice thing to add, because then that almost makes me feel like if I get it wrong, then I'm going to fail, which is obviously good in most scenarios. I eventually get it right, which gives me another key. So I explore around a little bit. It's nice and dark. Maybe you could add a flashlight to the player just so they can see in spots where maybe there's no lights. That glowing item is a collectible item, which there's not really any narrative to show me that that is a collectible item. I just jump over, I miss it on the first couple of tries, but I eventually get it. So I go have a look at this other room. This other room has a key in, which is, it's an unnamed key. It would be nice for maybe a named key that tells me which door it actually has to go into, because it's a bit confusing with like 3 different keys and none of the doors have names. Like I got confused here. Like I thought I had a key for it. So I go over and I pick that up, which tells me 2 out of 5 collected items. I found another one in this room, which the key was for, but I didn't know that. So say if there was maybe text above the door telling me that this is this type of room and it needs this type of key, that'd probably be nice. I go upstairs again to this nice hallway, which almost gives a back rooms kind of vibe. It's kind of nice and eerie and scary. And I eventually drop down to the bedroom, where I find a collectible item and a door which is locked, but I find the key first, luckily. Once again, the environment is kind of unbuilt and not finished. Like the walls are untextured and you can see outside. Maybe if you boarded the windows, it would have been a little bit nicer. I eventually got outside and I found another one of those safes, which I don't know where the key is for, so it takes me a while to find it, and my time does go down a significant amount. Maybe adding something like a little bit more narrative to the lot, like the safe, as it would make it easier for the player to find. The game does stick to theme, like the scary theme, like all the assets in it are quite like almost eerie and old, like a horror house vibe. I eventually go into this room here and I find in the cabinet the code. So I go outside to back to the safe and I type it in. I presume if I typed it in wrong, I would get time deducted off my final timer at the top as well. Once again, just a print string for that item. But I eventually go at this door and then the game is finished.